class designed to empower you to better health through knowledge and education. And I'm your host, Dr. Richard Huntoon from Advanced Alternative Medicine Center. We're located at 138 Canal Street in Pooler Park, that is in Pooler, Georgia. We're in Suite 404 of Building 400. If you'd like to stop in, that would be wonderful. Love the opportunity to meet you, ask some questions, get a sense of what you have a problem with. Ask your body some questions so that we can figure out exactly what's going on and offer you a solution. That would be the best thing for you to do. But people are a little reticent still with what's going on in our world and meeting new strangers and safety precautions, etc. So next best way to get a hold of me would be to call my cell phone directly at area code 845-561-2225. Again, 845-561-2225. Please do not text that phone, as that phone is not equipped to receive texts. I will never get it. I will never respond, and that would defeat the purpose of you trying to reach out to me. But you can email me. Same thing as texting, I guess, at docrick, DOCRICK, at spineboy.com. And whether you stop in, whether you call me, or whether you email me, it's my pleasure to help you to better understanding what the concerns that you have. My passion is for helping people. Health is our number one priority, at least it should be. And the health of our country is anything but healthy. We actually rank 59th in the world as far as our health goes, compared to all the other countries in the world. 59th. It's a little scary, considering we have more doctors, more hospitals, more technology, more money, more pharmaceuticals. We consume 92% of the world's medication right here in the good old US of A. That, personally, I think that seems to be a problem too. So, but all that relates back to what we're going to discuss today. We're shifting out of the fire element, which included the small intestine, the heart, and the endocrine system of the adrenals, the thyroid, the reproductive system. And now we're moving into the earth element. The earth element comprises the stomach, which we're going to discuss today, and then the other two components of that, which are the spleen and the pancreas, which we will get to next month. So the energy is shifting out of the heat of the summer. We may get a lull this time of year where the temperature goes down, and then it tends to come back up, and we call that politically incorrect Indian summer. It's where we get another slice at the apple, so to speak. And that directly relates to what's going on with your stomach meridian. Again, I said that's the yang portion. The yin portion is the spleen and pancreas, which we'll get to next month. The stomach is a very interesting organ that most people take for granted. It's a very abused organ simply because most people don't chew their food properly. I can't emphasize the importance to your health and your overall ability to age properly and not age too quickly by exercising the 32 teeth that you were given, and chew your food regularly, chew it fully, and slow down when you're eating, because if you don't slow down, then you get wonderful things like indigestion, heartburn, reflux, gastroesophageal reflux disease, just gas and bloating and burning all in this central part of your belly there, and that's not fun. Typically that's due to failing to chew properly and not enough hydrochloric acid, which is the acid that your stomach secretes when food enters into it. It also helps you to absorb calcium. Calcium gets absorbed in the stomach, and if you're having difficulty with immune health, with bone health, with musculoskeletal health, having problems with cramping and all of that kind of stuff, chances are your stomach is too alkaline. It's not acidic enough. And perhaps they're giving you antacids to get rid of the heartburn, which is primarily due to fermentation of carbohydrates sitting in your stomach because you don't have enough acid to break the proteins down so that things can leave the stomach. And what helps to control and regulate that is your gallbladder. And when your gallbladder is irritated by what it's being asked to process, 9 times out of 10 it will send it back from whence it came, pushing the pressure and the bloating and the indigestion up back into the stomach, ultimately pushing the stomach up through the diaphragm, the hiatus in the diaphragm, giving yourself a thing called a hiatal hernia. Very, very common condition. I probably treat in excess of 20 a week, just simply because so many people have indigestion. They eat too fast, they don't chew their food very well, and their stomach is moved up because of the gallbladder being irritated. When the gallbladder gets angry, gastritis, stomach ulcers, peptic ulcers, reflux, gastroesophageal reflux disease. If you have too little acid in your stomach, that's hypochlorohydria. If you have too much acid in your stomach, that's hyperchlorohydria. And again, that ultimately ends up leading to a hiatal hernia. Another interesting syndrome that goes on with a lot of people, simply because of the way that we eat our food and fast foods and those kinds of things, is you might get what's attributed to what's called foodborne illness or food poisoning. This has to do with food that wasn't properly prepared, and potentially you eating it again, or you eating it for the first time that wasn't prepared properly the first time. And you'll get the gas, the bloating, you'll get indigestion, you'll get heartburn, you'll get reflux, and the healthiest response your gallbladder could have, which we learned way back in May, would be throwing up. But nobody likes to throw up. So the urgency can present itself. It may be due to bacteria, maybe due to viruses, maybe due to parasites, chemical poisoning of some sort based upon what chemicals they're putting into our food. The interesting thing is, most of this is very, very simple to remedy, very, very simple to treat. I've had several patients in the past thought they were having a heart attack. They went to the emergency room. They did all the heart tests. All they needed to do was heart enzymes, but they did all these heart tests up to the tune of almost $100,000 in office doctor bills, which just seems ridiculous. And they tell them that you weren't having a heart attack, and they send you home. And then these people come to my office and they still can't breathe properly. They still have chest pain and indigestion and all of the symptoms that brought them to the hospital. And I reduce their hiatal hernia, which takes about 20 seconds, and all of their symptoms magically go away. And a lot of times that has to do with the types of foods that we're eating, but also has to do with the emotions that affect the stomach. The emotions of low self-esteem, the emotions of feeling sorry for yourself, or what's known as oversympathetic. So we also have disgust, expanded importance of self, egotistic, nervous, despaired, stifled, living through others, over concern. These tendencies, as a result of what goes on in the small intestine, which comes right after the stomach, assuming you get past the gallbladder, is the tendency of having butterflies in your stomach. Butterflies in your stomach is actually a small intestine issue, letting you know that you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling potentially lost. So the emotions ultimately impact how we feel and how the organs function, and if you're not breaking your proteins down fully, that's going to lead to food allergies and potentially autoimmune disease down the road. So these are things that we would like for you to appreciate and understand, that there are simple solutions for it. Chewing your food is the best thing that you could do. Perhaps taking a digestive enzyme every time you eat. Maybe some aloe vera juice to help put out the fire. 2 ounces of aloe vera juice on an empty stomach a couple times a day is a wonderful remedy that I would recommend for anybody to consider. Make sure that it's real aloe vera juice, not with a whole bunch of additives and flavorings and those kinds of things. That would be important. Now, muscles associated with the stomach is always interesting. Those would be your chest muscles. Interestingly enough, when a person drinks a glass of cold water, it actually shuts their chest muscles off, which is always fascinating to demonstrate in a group setting. But when you go to eat at a restaurant, and the first thing they do is they bring you out ice water. Worst thing you could do is drink that ice water just before you're going to eat, because it's going to shut your stomach off, which is pretty ridiculous if you're going to be putting food in there and your stomach's going to need to work. So I would ask for you to ask for room temperature water. It's always fascinating when a waiter or waitress comes back and says, well, do you want ice in that room temperature water? And I was like, no, I want it room temperature. That means without the ice. So room temperature water, if you're going to drink anything with your meals, room temperature water would be the most appropriate. And so other muscles represent forearm muscles, your brachioradialis. Not that you need to appreciate that, but people who have elbow, wrist issues, sometimes the stomach is involved in that specifically, and being able to check that would be important. Your neck flexors, which help you say yes. Those neck flexors working together, or them saying no, which is them working individually, one side versus the other. Those are all related to the stomach. So what else do we want to cover here? Any imbalance with your body's ability for your stomach to perform properly ultimately is going to lead to you aging faster. It's going to lead to health imbalances like immune system imbalances, muscle problem imbalances. And so we want to make sure that you chew your food well. Let it sit in your mouth for at least 30 seconds before swallowing it. Don't eat like a shark because that's not good for you. So that's about it for the stomach. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm going to ask you to reach out to me if you have any questions. Address is 138 Canal Street in Pooler, Georgia. We're in Suite 404 of Building 400. You can email me directly at docrick@spineboy.com, or you can call my cell phone directly at area code 845-561-2225. I want to answer your questions. I want to help you to better health. So appreciate again you tuning in. Tune back in next week where we will have another video related to other aspects of your health as we move into the month of August. And appreciate you being here. Thanks.